Hey, hello, everybody. This is me, Noel Greene of the Noel Greene Live podcast. Here today, we have a very special guest that does very special work. Her name is Heather Anderson, and I'm really glad and ecstatic to have her on today. So, Heather, would you like to tell the listeners what it is that you do and share a little bit of your credentials, just give a intro, to who you are as a person and what you do.
Well, thank you so much. First of all, Noel, thank you for having me here today with
Hmm.
everybody that's listening. It's fantastic to be here and a great platform to share. So thank you so much for having me. My name is Heather Anderson, and I am the president of World Genesis Foundation. Our mission is to leave no child without hope for the future. And we work around the globe with youth. I'm also serving as the Secretary General for the U.S. Federation of UNESCO Clubs, Centers, and Associations. So I have been doing that for many years. And in addition to that, I'm a teacher, uh, always a teacher, and in no matter what I end up doing. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit about what I do. And I'm looking forward to the call and talking more about some of those details.
Excellent. So, the first question I would like to get into. So, you run an organization, the World Genesis Foundation. I wanted to ask you about the name. How did you uh, how did you come up with such a name? What was the thought behind the word naming it the World Genesis organization?
Great question. So, first of all, I'm going to start by saying I am not the founder of the foundation. That is not me. But the two gentlemen who did found the foundation and who began it first thought about it while sitting on a boat at a youth program in the middle of the river in Europe, having a conversation and starting off a lot of, in the same way a lot of us start off when we build something. It's a conversation, right? It's a thought, it's an idea. And after that summer camp, coming home, and it was a volunteer summer camp. It was that they were volunteering for, coming back and saying, "I'm going to do something about this idea." And that is what sparked the creation of the foundation. Now, World Genesis Foundation, the name of it comes from the word Genesis, which means beginning, root, and where things started. And talking about not just in one area, but really wanting to connect and create opportunity for youth around the world. So really the World Genesis Foundation wanted the opportunity to maybe start new beginnings for youth around the world and create that hope for many of our youth. And that's where the name came from.
Great, excellent. So, so I was reading about you and everything, and um,
Uh-oh.
and I noticed that you so correct me if I'm wrong. You have a master's in psychology.
In social work, I have a master's in social work. I have a couple degrees
Mm-hmm.
in teaching as well, and with a focus on psychology and art. So I wanted to
Yes.
really bridge the science and the art together, and I'm still doing that in my work today. And then I went on to get my master's in social work. Because I really wanted to connect with people and be able to help and create opportunities. It in my past work, no matter where it has taken me, whether it was working in the field of brain injury, working with youth, I really wanted to platform where they could share their voice.
Okay. Um, you mentioned that you were a teacher. What made you want to become a teacher? I am fascinated with people that want to become teachers because I remember back when I was in school, and the teachers really had to deal with the kids. That's really, that takes some patience there. What made you um, decide that you wanted to get into teaching and to get involved with the youth?
Well, that's a good question. You know, oh, oh, let me unmute my mic first. That's a great question. And I had a gentleman once from India that I met, and we were discussing, he was also a teacher, and we were discussing um, a little bit about our worlds. And he said to something to me that I'll never forget. And I really thought it's absolutely true for myself. And that is being a teacher is not a profession, it's a calling. And I have felt that he was right in saying that no matter where I am in my work, whether I'm doing fitness classes and health and well-being, whether I'm in another country doing something else, teaching amateur radio, space radio science, or art, or whatever it is, I have always loved teaching and felt like it was um, a gift that I wanted to give back to the world. So I think even when I was little, playing school when I was little was something I would race home from school to do more of at home. So I think it's just sort of ingrained in me. It's a calling.
That's 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 um that's very interesting. Um, I would always, I would always have, conversations, with other people, about professions regarding teaching, but not just teaching. I say all the time, professions dealing, anything that deals with the public and helping out other people. It's a certain type of person that's really built and really made to do that. And it's something special. I really do think that people that do get into teaching, especially really good teachers, don't get the accolades or the or the attention, because it's really something that you really have to love, and it can really impact people. So I just love people like you and people that get into social work. It's really something. It's really something special, and I just want you want you to know that's really a blessing.
Well, thank you so much. And when we're all in school, and I'd like everyone in the audience that's listening to think about this too, is that, if we think back to our education, sometimes there's that one teacher that really stands out in our mind, right? Somebody that really supported us, believed in us, pushed us, and really made a difference. And maybe that difference didn't show when you were in that grade or while you were in that classroom. Maybe that difference came later in life, and you thought back and went, wow, this one really teacher impacted my life. And I've had a couple of those teachers along my educational career as well. And that's what I wanted to do for somebody. I wanted to be able to create that opportunity or that learning environment or that space that could really take a young person into you don't even know, right? Because they're still learning and growing, and that's the most exciting part, I think, about teaching is the impact you have, and not even knowing what that impact is when you're in the middle of it.
Great, absolutely fantastic. So now I wanna get into the the heart of the World Genesis Foundation. So the can you explain to those who are listening in the audience? You kind of touched on it in the intro, but can you explain to the audience, like, what are things that the World Genesis Foundation does? What makes the World Genesis Foundation something special and something true to you?
Well, okay. I have a long answer for that and a short answer for that. We'll see where it goes. It might be somewhere in between, so just stop me if we need to. But
Okay.
one of the things that really sets us apart is we're a volunteer organization, and we were founded in 1999. And we came together with a heart and a purpose of creating opportunity for youth and allowing them the space to feel hope, because a lot of the areas that we were going to and maybe bringing programs to, it was amazing that these young people had little hope for their future or where it could take them, and felt maybe trapped by their circumstances. And we wanted to create something different for them, and that hope is so important. So I think a few of the things that sets us apart is 100% volunteer. Our board members, our volunteers, our teachers come together and truly want to give back from the heart. We actually accepted no donations at all except for time and materials up until just a few years ago. So the only thing that was you were able to donate to us was your time, which is invaluable, or materials. And it was amazing to us, the people that came together and really wanted to give back for and just to share their knowledge, their time, or their materials for a program. And that's something that I think really sets us apart from other nonprofit organizations. Still today, we're a small foundation, but with a global reach. And it really comes from the connections that we've made with people that have like-minded missions, and then it brings us together in our global missions, right? So it's not just about my mission or your mission, but how do we come together and rise each other up as organizations to fulfill our global missions together? So I think that grassroots foundation, that grassroots mind frame is what really has propelled us and set us apart as far as other nonprofit organizations. And there are so many of them doing amazing work.
All right. So I wanna ask you, because one of the keys that we mentioned here is unity. So as a society here, I don't know where that echo is coming from. Okay, can you hear me? Okay. So we you mentioned and we talked about unifying and togetherness and being one. We live we live in a society where people aren't necessarily to together. So how so as far as your organization is concerned, have you seen any progress or any success with bringing more and more people together, especially with something like the World Genesis organization, where you're dealing with people that come from different cultures and different nationalities and different backgrounds? Are you seeing a progress and in that togetherness, or is there still work that needs to be done in that area uh, to improve? Are you seeing any progress with that?
That there's always work to be done, but I believe in the years that I've been with the foundation. I began in 2006 as a volunteer for a summer program, and I believe that I have seen um, this unity happening in our world, and it continues to happen. And I believe that partly comes from our great social media platforms, right? And it has really the opportunity for us to connect with other organizations, other people, other like-minded people in the things that we're doing. And I feel that that's really created a platform that's brought us together in a lot of amazing ways. There's no doubt about that. But I also believe that there's still work to be done. And I think that we're coming together, like I said before, in our global missions, and being able to lift each other up. And I feel like there's a shift in that, and coming together with what brings us, um, uh, what the things that we have in common, rather than just this place of competition, right? So I feel there is a shift in happening there that I've seen. Maybe that's because I've been in the field, um, but I always think that there's more work to do, for sure. But we're getting there.
That's good. That's really nice to hear that you guys that you are seeing progress, and of course, there's more work to be done. Another question that that I want to ask you, it's kind of a follow up question to what I asked you previously. So as far as the work and the and the outreach is concerned, are there any are there or were there any projects or any projects, were were there any projects of yours um, that helped or that strive to build that togetherness and build that progress? So in other words, a better way to word it, in these projects, are you seeing new faces coming in every time, or are they kind of the same faces coming in?
Projects, we have some projects that we've been participating in for over 15, 20 years. And what's
Mm-hmm.
amazing to see in those projects is now we're seeing the next generation come to these programs. So parents who were in the program are now bringing their children because it had such a profound impact on their lives. So now they're sharing that with their families. And that's an amazing thing to see. And then we have programs. I work with other two nonprofits, the UNESCO Center for Peace, along with the US Federation. And we have organizations like Mind Body coming together within the US, a lot of grassroots organizations who are coming together. And these programs are bringing new students and new organizations together every year. And we start these summer camps happen in the winter and also in the summer too. And the great thing is, um, that through technology, we've increased our reach through these modalities of online. So now people don't just come to us or we go to them, but now we're opening up to a virtual audience. And so now those things are growing even more. So I could give some examples
Mm-hmm.
if you're interested, but
Yeah, go
definitely
ahead.
there are some that, like I said, one of the camps that we do is called Atlanticron Summer Camp for Learning. It's an academy for learning where we bring students and teachers and professionals together in an outdoor setting in the middle of an island surrounded by water in the middle of the Danube River. And this program is going on its 33rd year.
Mm.
And it's an amazing program where we bring about 350 people to this island, and and we have classes that run all day long. So we spend time in a natural environment. So you don't have the distractions that we do sometimes in our everyday life. And these students immerse in the learning. And we have classes from everything from astrophysics to astronomy, amateur radio, culture, art, music. We bring it all together into this space. And I have seen profound impact on people's lives being able to participate in this program. And that was one of the programs I was using as an example where people that have attended the academy maybe years ago are now bringing their children. So that next generation in learning. And it's an amazing way to learn when you're sitting by a campfire next to a NASA scientist or a famous artist or writer or musician, and it levels the playing field. It makes something that seemed like was up here to reach. All of a sudden, you're seeing that all of us are people, and all of these things can happen with the will and the way. And I think that creates a lot of hope in that particular environment. And then, like I said, we have summer camps that we do here in the US as well, and where we see new faces. We run a very large multimedia competition, and we started off, this is our 8th year, we started off 8 years ago, reaching 61 countries and just a little over 200 applications. This past year, we were close to 10,000 applications from youth around the world sharing their voice through social media, through video, through artwork, through essay, through presentation. And that was it's an amazing contest that's absolutely free, and it brings youth and organizations together. So it's wonderful to have that reach and to bring new people. We give scholarships to camps to our winners, and that gets them, to participate and meet new faces from around the world.
Excellent. I wanted, because you mentioned something, the nature. Now, we live in it's a very I don't know about you, but I'm down here. I live in Miami. It's a very beautiful place. It's surrounded by water, but there's a sense of people not really being connected to nature. Is nature a way that that you guys bring people closer? Because it sounds like you bring people to learn together, but the difference is you bring them in nature as opposed to an office or a house or a university building. Is nature a key part in your programs to bring people together and really unify people? And if so, can you tell us why you guys decide to immerse people in the nature?
Question. And first, I'll start off by saying this particular program that happens in Romania has started on this island in times of a different political setting. So in times of Ceausescu, where particular subjects were really forbidden to learn, and some of those learnings opportunities happened in a more secret kind of setting, or a more uh, a setting that was not mainstream. So a lot of teachers and parents took their children out in nature, where they could teach them in this kind of setting at the time. Because of that, it has continued to evolve and still happens at its core in a natural environment. Now, not all of our programs do this. Sometimes we join programs that happen on universities or in the classroom itself. So we do space and radio science and amateur radio, and we bring that directly into the classrooms as well. But this particular program happens in nature, and I will tell you that it has uh, the what I have seen in this particular program definitely has very unique properties, and I think that is linked to its setting, and it has different properties of learning and connectedness than maybe we see in a classroom, or maybe we see in a university setting. So there is something special that happens when you take away the distraction, when you're in a setting of nature, when you're connecting together around a campfire, or or around water and the trees, and you're all in this environment together. There's definitely something special that happens, and I think that says in our nervous system itself, going out in nature, whether it's camping or going for a walk or whatever it is, getting outside helps to reset our parasympathetic nervous system. It truly does allow our nervous system and our vibrational to settle down, to decompress. The shoulders come down, we breathe better, we listen to our bodies, and therefore, and ourselves, and that makes us more open, I think, to listening to things around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without the distractions. So I think that's a big part of it. But that's special to that particular program. But I think it adds a dynamic that's truly unique and different from other settings, for sure.
Okay. I have a question. So
Yeah.
you said parasympathetic nervous.
Parasympathetic, yeah, like the
Parasymp.
rest and digest.
Okay, I'm just curious. Like, what is that?
Okay, good. That's a good question. So we have, our nervous system is we have our fight and flight, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
where it's that primitive tigers running after us, our adrenaline starts going and gets our nervous system all uppity, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we it's fight or flight. And the parasympathetic nervous system is that rest and digest. So that's that relaxation moment that happens where we're not in that adrenaline fight or flight mode. A lot of us find ourselves in that space nowadays. We sometimes it's overstimulation, overwork. We've got 10,000 doing things that we're doing at once. The multitasking, multiple jobs, families, all these things, sometimes even then bring the holidays and everything into it. And we are stressed, and our bodies feel that stress. So helping to reset that parasympathetic nervous system, which is that rest and digest, where our bodies can we're not shallow breathing, right? We're taking those deep breaths, and you're hearing this a lot. They're even bringing it into our classrooms, breathing exercises, meditation, different modalities like this, learn emotional intelligence, getting in touch with ourselves, and all those things that happen. And they happen to us automatically, when we step outside of the screens and the phones and the iPads and the jobs and the telephone calls and the meetings, and
Mm-hmm.
we step outside of that and we get into a natural environment, we start to resonate with our environment, our natural environment around us. So that's a little bit about that. That's another show
For sure.
all in itself.
I was just curious because when you said it, I was like, oh, interesting. What is that? What is that? Right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So here's another thing. I really like to know. So so the organization has done quite a few projects
Hmm.
during your time at the World Genesis Foundation.
Hmm.
What was your favorite project?
Okay, that's really a hard question to answer because, these programs are like, there's something wonderful about each one,
Mm-hmm.
and each one brings something a little bit different, right, to bring to the melting pot. So they're all my favorites in different ways, but I have to say that the cultural awareness and understanding programs that we bring to multiple summer camps that we do has an amazing impact on our youth, and instantly connects us and finds the ways and that are commonalities, rather than focusing on our differences. And those programs have a great launching to whatever else we're doing that follows. So that cultural awareness, that cultural understanding, are the ones that I love to begin with. And it connects us and it lets us all exhale. And we're able to, like I said, find things that we have in common and share. And then the other programs seem to fall into place. Um, and so I love bringing those into beginning because we're all global citizens, right? Our social media platforms have thrown us into global employment, global social networks, and everything. And so having that cultural awareness and understanding and being that and being that having that global citizenship, I think is a key importance and a skill for our young people going into whatever profession they choose. So I think that that's a super important one. Atlanticron Summer Academy, which we've been participating in since 1999, is a favorite because it changed my life in so many ways as an educator, in my personal and professional life. But that was the thing, that was my volunteer project that first got me connected to this foundation.
Mm.
I was doing nonprofit work throughout my college in different internships, and I was always connected to the nonprofit world. But volunteering for the foundation in 2006 is what first got me to connected. And if you would have asked me years ago, would I be now running the foundation or president of the foundation, I would have been like, I don't think so, you know. And people say, well, how did you get to, this space? Well, to me, it was probably a lot of small decisions that seemed insignificant and not really important. But looking back on it now, I see that every one of those choices was significant and important because all of those choices led me to this moment and brought me here. So, for everyone out there and all your listeners, you never know, no matter where you are in your life, you have a passion for something, whether it's teaching or youth or whatever that passion is. It's never too late to take a chance, volunteer, connect with that person because you don't know what path that's going to lead you to in for yourself. So that's a passion project for me, there's no doubt. And the last one is being the Secretary General for the U.S. Federation of UNESCO Clubs. I've had the opportunity to lead, create, and develop with a team of fantastic youth from around the world is this multimedia youth competition. And we bring important questions to the youth every year, and they get to share their voice. Why? Because their voice matters. Peer to peer discussions and being able to influence and reach and change the world and be these positive change makers start with our youth. And I don't think as many know how important their voice is and how much they matter. Um, as we want them to feel and know. So that's my goal and mission right now, is to reach as many youth as we can. And I have a great team of volunteers that surround me in creating that. So um, that's a passion project as well.
Interesting, interesting, and um, like I was, because it's it's apparent, it's apparent with you because you're an educator, but I don't think people understand or know how important our youth and our children and our upcoming generations are, because they they are our future. So it's important.
Absolutely.
It's important that that they have that they have a voice and that they have a say, and it's important that they that they feel heard. So
That they know that. And they are in the greatest position at this moment now to affect change. Look at all our platforms, from Instagram to TikTok to Facebook to whatever it is.
mhm.
This generation is in the greatest position to connect with each other peer to peer than any other generation that has come before them. So that's profound. That is amazing. And I want them to know from the tops. I mean, I've got full body chills here, that they are the generation in this greatest capacity to impact. Um, Simply because of where they are and how we have these amazing technologies to communicate and to connect and to lift each other up in our dreams.
Excellent. So so yeah, I pretty much the listeners pretty much know your foundation. But
Mm.
if you want, would you like to give the listeners your Instagram, or if you have a TikTok, or a whatever is the
Sure.
hot, yeah.
A few plugs, no problem. Of course, we have our website, worldgenesis.org. You can find us on Facebook under World Genesis Foundation, Instagram, World Genesis Foundation. You can email us. You can see everything that we're doing there. Pick a project, pick a passion, volunteer with us. We have things, nothing's too small and nothing's too big. And we hope to just create opportunity for anybody that wants to get involved. It's a great opportunity for people. I'm really feel blessed. I feel absolutely um, passionate about the work that we do. It kind of oozes out of me in every sense. So I try not to over talk it too much. But we're extremely passionate about what we do. And everyone that's been on our board, our honorary members, our volunteers, everyone comes together from the heart. And that has connected us to the most amazing people and organizations around the world. And we couldn't do it without them, because we are a community, whether it's a global community, whether it's a social community, wherever that is. that's how profound things get done. That's how these eureka moments happen, bridging those disciplines together, bridging minds together, bridging generations together. That's what we're passionate about and want to continue to do. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity and everything that's led me to this moment here, and to our future and the future generations, because they're the ones that will be leading and lifting us up. So let's celebrate them and create opportunities, every opportunity that we can for them.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we we will get there. All
Yep.
right, guys. That'll be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and yeah, come and tune in next time.